Oh, the motor worked good. I'm hoping you're getting some good video out of this.
Well, that sucked. That could have went a lot better. The good news is Amanda had a good time laughing at me. Started off pretty bad right off the bat. As soon as I backed the boat into the water, I noticed it was taking on water. And I know exactly where from. My laziness got to me. The plug, the little tube that your plug goes into, is pretty smashed up from who knows what since 1983. And I couldn't really just get it seated in there like it's supposed to. So I just got one of them T-handle plugs, tightened the crap out of it, hoping that would be the Band-Aid fix. Well, apparently not. And then almost immediately after that, when I went to start the motor, the pull rope broke on me with like the second or third pull. Well, luckily the way they're made, I was able to kind of fix it up to where I could at least not lose the rope inside the motor. But about 8,000 pulls later and a busted blister, decided this thing just was not going to run right. It ran decent for one little leg, but it kept acting like it was starving for fuel. Guy I bought it from said it ran good, and then it ran good, you know, on the stand. But I didn't run it for very long, and then didn't really have it under a load. So what I plan on doing today is pulling this thing out and taking the carb off, cleaning it, and see if hopefully that's the problem. Star fuel, I got a brand new fuel tank. I think the fuel tank and fuel line is fine on it. Possibly could be the fuel pump. I have a fuel pump on the motor that came on this boat. I could swap it around, which knowing my luck, it's probably bad too. And we'll be back at the drawing board. But hopefully it's not nothing very serious like a bad crank seal, because that would suck. But fingers crossed that we can get this thing fixed pretty easy. I've already went ahead and fixed the little tube for the plug and redid the rope, the pull rope on the outboard. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this thing out of the garage and get to digging in on this motor, and hopefully we can get it back together and maybe out on the water sometime here soon to complete this video. Well, I got this little fart knocker off and put back on. If you're ever gonna take the carburetor off one of these, just go ahead and know you gotta take your pull starter off too. And it sucks because you got to take this bolt out, but you got to hold this, you know, it's spring loaded. You got to hold it together the whole time and take it out, then wrap it up with tape so it don't come apart on you, because that could be a nightmare trying to get that spring rewound. Or if you're like me, you'll probably just Google if you can buy this whole thing that's already together. Anyhow, got that back on, got the carb back on, everything's put back together. The jets were clean. Who knows, it don't take much to mess a carburetor up. It could have been a little piece of trash in the needle, I don't know. Cleaned everything, all the gaskets look good. Like I said, put it back together, and I'm gonna crank it up and see what happens. I took this fuel line off. This is the fuel pump. I took this off and squeezed the bulb, and it looked like plenty of gas coming through. I don't know. We want to crank it up and see if by some kind of miracle that we didn't go ahead and fix it. And if it's still dying on me, I guess I'm gonna take the fuel pump off that parts motor I got and stick it on here. So it's just 2 bolts and, you know, the fuel lines, of course. So I don't know. Let's cross our fingers and toes. That didn't fix it. All right, this is the fuel pump off of the parts motor. And once I got it off, I was looking at them. I mean, you see the orientation of where this little nipple goes to the carburetor? And I mean, this one's up top and this one's to the right. I'm not sure if that's a year thing, but when I look these up, I think they're all basically the same. But I mean, it's running now. It's running under a load. Well, not specifically a load. I got it in gear and I'm giving it gas. And before it was just starving, and now it seems to be running. I had to take the fuel line off the old one because this one was too short. Another thing I noticed is when you look up these fuel pumps, like in a brand new one, this thing is like right here coming out on this end. So I'm not exactly sure. I'll put a little picture of a parts one. So I don't know. Was this one put together wrong? I mean, somebody's definitely been in this motor trying to work on it. So did they try to just rebuild the fuel pump and put this in the wrong way and that's keeping it from running, or is this just bad? I'm not really sure, but this one has it running now. I haven't put my clamps on here yet, but I'll turn the water on and fire it up and let you guys hear it. Well, hopefully we got that fixed. I do want to point out, don't be dumb like me. Not safe to run these motors with the hood off. It's not safe for yourself. It's also not safe for the motor. You got that water just kind of spinning up everywhere. It could get in the carb and mess it all up. And then next thing you know, you got to be taking the car back off. But anyhow, don't do that. I know I did it earlier. I don't want the safety police jumping out on me. They're already hard enough on me about wearing masks when I'm sanding and all that crap. I know. I'm dumb. I'm not stupid. I know the health risks of all this stuff. Almost 40 years old. I'm hard-headed. I know I should be wearing stuff. That's why I say, this isn't exactly a how-to channel. It's a how I did it channel. Don't do everything I do. If you think something has a safety issue, use your best judgment or ask somebody else. And a lot of times I do wear a mask and I do wear gloves when I'm messing with acetone, but sometimes I just don't think about it when I'm filming. So I know better. I don't need a lecture. Amanda's on me enough as it is for stuff I do. All right, anyhow, a couple things that I'd like to point out. I think I put these on that bow fishing boat I did, and I couldn't remember what they were called. I put a little black paint on the top so it ain't so bad, but they're called Terry clips. And that way you can put your navigation light right here, and it's kind of out of the way. But just so you know, these are Terry clips. There's all different styles. You just find whichever one you need for what size you're using. I think I got them from Amazon, but don't hold me to it. I also cut me some panels to cover. Remember, I had a hole right there. It was a hole to access this. I didn't do it. Whoever messed with this boat a long time ago cut a hole out so they could secure the seat bases on, and you know, I just went ahead and cut me a plate, camouflaged it, riveted it on. And same thing up here, if y'all recall, there was a hole cut out because they had a live well in the seat, and I guess that was to access it. But same way, cut me a piece of metal out, camoed it, and riveted it on. While I had this thing out, I went ahead and adjusted these bunks right here, pushed them up a little bit higher. This boat was kind of nosediving, and it gave me fits the other day when I was trying to load it. And it did have a roller on it, like for a V-nose boat, and I replaced it with this block I had sitting around, and I ended up moving the handle up top, which I don't like the winch setup now. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna go about fixing it. I feel like I kind of need something to bridge across here. I mean, I don't think it's like the end of the world, but I definitely like it being kind of flat on the front part of this boat. You know, you got a John boat that's flat up front. It's better to rest on something that's flat. Actually, it looks wonky, but when people put 2x4s, I think that's even a better option. It looks kind of crappy, but as far as tearing your boat up, I think it's a lot better setup. I also added a safety chain, which this carabiner is not for heavy loads, but it's all I had. Whoever I sell it to, I might pick one up if I can find one, but just something, you know, just in case. I always put a safety chain on your trailer because you don't want to be going down the highway and your boat slide off, because not only is it going to tear your boat up, but it might really hurt or kill somebody. I think that's about it. I added a rope, which, you know, that's pretty cut and dry for unloading the boat. And of course we got the depth finder hooked up, which I haven't unplugged. It needs to be wired to a switch, but the little fuse block I got is completely ate up. So, I mean, that's not going to draw too many amps. If I keep this boat for a while, I will go ahead and add a switch to that somehow so you can turn it off. And probably the same way with that battery. I don't really like how when you turn the switch on, it goes ahead and gives you power to your battery thing. I'd rather have that on a switch too, but that's at a later date. Like I said, you know, ain't nothing that's going to kill the boat. I'll let whoever buys it know. If somebody does buy it, if they don't buy it, well, I'll probably fix it. Well, all right, I think we're ready to try to take this thing out again. The high today is 70, the high tomorrow is 38. You gotta love Tennessee weather. If you don't love it, just wait a little bit and it'll change for you. All right. Well, all right, we got another boat build in the books. One of the reasons I wanted to get this boat when I first went to go look at it, was I noticed it was a 1983 model, and 83 is the same year I was born. So cheesy as it sounds, I thought it was pretty neat. We both turned 40 this year. I turned 40 last week. I don't know when this boat was made, but we'll say it was made in January. We both got some miles on us, and I hated seeing it just sitting back there. And I'm really glad I was able to bring it home and bring it back to life, and hopefully somebody can buy it from me and enjoy it. It took me a little bit to do this boat, mainly because of hunting season, and I worked on Sammy's boat for a few weeks, to pay for this boat. I got it in a trade. And then, of course, my work and, weather this year is very, very hit or miss. So it kind of drug out a little bit, which seems to be okay because views were very down on this build compared to the past builds. I'm guessing just because the time of the year, too. A lot of people ain't concerning themselves with fishing or getting out on the waters. But I enjoyed this little build, and I think it come out pretty nice. Not my favorite looking boat that I've done to date, but I think it's my best work so far. I really appreciate all you guys that have liked and commented and subscribed to the channel. It helps tremendously, and my favorite comments are the ones where people are saying, I inspired them to go out and work on their boat or to buy a boat and fix it up. And that's really what I want the channel to be. Never really intended it to be like, this is how to do this is how to do that. It's more of a just, this is how I did it. And, I've never been one to say, you should do it this way, you should do it that way. I mean, really, what does it matter? If it's your boat, I mean, of course, the important things, you don't want to drill holes on the boat and it sink. But as far as everything else, as long as it works and you can afford it and you can get the boat out and enjoy it, I mean, that's what's important to me. Who cares, if you put plywood in your boat, because that's all you can afford, or you can't get your hands on any aluminum. Do what you can do. I ain't trying to snub my nose at anybody's boat build. It's all about, enjoying it and getting out on the water and having some fun. Well, once again, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.